Hi, this is Jamie Arenthal. Welcome to your 45-minute vinyasa yoga practice. Please have straps, blocks, or any other tools that you need to modify poses so that the poses suit your body and not the other way around. Thank you. We'll begin in standing pose, Tadasana. Lift your toes, spread them out, lay them back down. Think about lifting through the arches of your feet, lifting your kneecaps, and if you're familiar, use Mula Bandha, which is a root lock. Circle the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Let the palms face forward. Inhale the arms up, gaze up, palms together, and exhale, centering breath at your heart. Reach the palms up, inhaling, and as you exhale, swan dive over, keeping knees soft. Hands can rest on your shins or on the floor. And then inhale, coming halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. And then exhale again, pulling the belly button in and bowing down. Bend your knees, roll up one vertebra at a time. Head is last to come up. Circle those shoulders up, back, and down. Again, engage those feet, feeling all of your toes on the floor, your arches engaged, kneecaps lifting. Again, inhaling, gazing up. Exhaling, swan dive over. Soften your knees. Inhale, coming halfway up, half forward fold, and exhale, nose to knees. Bend your knees, roll up, head last to come up. Circle the shoulders back behind you. Inhale again, raise your prayer overhead. And as you exhale, bring your prayer hands to heart center. Close your eyes for a moment, breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose. Set an intention for your yoga practice today. It can be anything. It could be dedicating your practice to someone or something or some place that needs your love and your attention. Or if nothing comes to mind, feel free to use ahimsa, the Sanskrit word for do no harm or nonviolence. And we translate that also to mean loving self-compassion. This practice is yours. Make it yours. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and exhale, swan diving over. Halfway up, inhale, and exhale, forward fold. We'll step the right leg back, press that left foot into the floor, and inhale up for high lunge. You can allow that back knee to soften. You could even put it on the floor, but if you like, extend that heel behind you and bend the left knee even more. As you exhale, release the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. So this is our first inversion of the day. You can shake your head no, shake your head yes, and maybe pedal your heels. So one foot down, the other knee bending, just to warm up your ankles, Achilles tendons, your calves. And then rise up on your tippy toes. Inhale forward to plank. For our first vinyasa, we're going to modify knees, chin, and chest. So think about pulling those elbows into your sides. And then as you inhale, slide onto your belly, hands under shoulders, baby cobra. Gaze up. Exhale, release forehead to the mat. Press into the mat, hips to heels, child's pose, balasana. Curl the toes, lift the knees, downward facing dog. You can lift the right leg up, take a breath in, and step the right foot through your hands. Use your right hand to help you get there. Place your right hand on your right knee, gently twist, open your heart toward the sky, and maybe reach that right arm up. Remember, the knee could always be on the floor if you like. As you exhale, step forward, forward fold, Uttanasana. Look forward, inhale, come halfway up, and then reverse swan dive. Exhale, centering breath at your heart. The transition between the poses is as important as the end result of the pose. So take your time. Inhale your prayer up. Exhale, swan dive over. Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, nose to knees. Stepping left leg back. Press that right heel into the floor and rise up. High lunge. Options here, placing left knee on the floor or just softening the knee, extending that left heel behind you to straighten the leg even more, and bending that right knee just a little more. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, releasing the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Again, opportunity to pedal your heels. Pressing fingertips into your mat, taking some of the pressure off your wrists. And then lift onto the balls of both feet, roll forward to plank, modified vinyasa, knees, chin, and chest. Exhale as you lower. Slide onto your belly, baby cobra. Inhale as you back bend. Exhale, lower. Back to child's pose. At any time during our practice today, feel free to rest in child's pose. And join us when you're ready. Curl the toes, lift the knees. Down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lift the left leg. Exhale between your hands. Or walk your left foot forward with that left hand. Placing the left hand on your left thigh, gently turn the torso, pivoting your gaze up to the sky and reaching the left arm up. Again, focusing on straightening that back leg and bending the front leg. As you exhale, step the right foot forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. Halfway up, reverse swan dive. Inhaling, getting tall, and exhaling, centering breath at your heart. We'll repeat that with variations, still warming up. Inhale, prayer overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Right leg steps back, high lunge. See if you can lower those shoulders, palms face each other, as if you're pressing a beach ball between your hands. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tippy toes, inhale, plank. This time we'll do a full vinyasa, or exhale, chaturanga, halfway down. Look forward as you inhale up onto your tops of your feet, arching back, gazes up. Exhale, downward facing dog. If any of that doesn't suit you, go back to that modified or use your own variation. Right leg up, right foot between hands, right arm to the sky, twisting lunge. If you like, you can lower that back knee to the floor, bend the left knee, and reach to the outer edge of that left foot for a little bit more quadricep stretch. Tuck your chin here and rotate your gaze so that your chin is pointing towards your shoulder and not up in the air. Notice thumb points up. That'll help that right shoulder stay open, scapula flat on your back. And as you exhale, step the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, reverse swan dive. Exhale, centering breath to heart. Reach up, inhale. Exhale, Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Left leg steps back. High lunge. Shoulders soften, sliding down your back. Press your palms against that imaginary beach ball. Exhale, downward facing dog. Tippy toes, inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg up, left foot between hands. Left arm lifts. So there's one straight line from left wrist to right wrist, going right through the shoulders. And again, work on straightening that back leg. And then if you like, you can lower that right knee to the floor, bend the right knee, and then reach for the outside of that right foot. Thumb points up for a little bit more quadricep stretch. Don't let this compromise your pose. The variations are meant to deepen the pose, not compromise it. You can release, exhale to step forward. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Halfway up, inhale, reverse your swan. And exhale, centering breath at your heart. Changing it up. Bend the knees, circle the arms by the ears, Utkatasana, awkward chair pose. Notice that I can look down and I can see my toes. If I were here, I would not be able to. So you want to settle back, weight in heels. Keep the body long, upright, natural curve in the spine. As you exhale, straighten the legs, nose to knees, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lengthen your spine. And whether that means here, right, hands on shins or thighs, or here is up to you. And then your journey back into a plank. So options, you can step the right foot and then the left foot, or you can hop back. Your vinyasa, exhaling to lower, inhaling to lift and lengthen, exhaling to return to downward dog. So our inhalations serve to lighten us, to expand us, and the exhalations serve to ground us, deepen the pose, or contract us. Right leg up. And for some of you, that may mean bending that right knee to get a little bit more quadricep and waist stretch. And exhale the right foot between hands. Fingertips. Lower your left heel to the floor. Left foot on a diagonal. And use the power, press into that right heel to lift up to your warrior one. So warrior one is not the most natural pose for our bodies. It puts a lot of strain on that left hip flexor. And the tradition is to pull back on that right hip crease and to press your left hip forward. But if that's uncomfortable for anyone, since it's really not natural, you could step the left foot a little wider, and that'll allow you to square off your pelvis. Exhale, step back to your plank and come through vinyasa. Left leg lifts, left foot between hands, fingertips on the floor. Turn your right heel down, right foot on diagonal. Press into that left heel, rise up. Warrior one. Remember that beach ball. Remember to lower those shoulders. You can use Mula Bandha here. to stabilize, you could step the right foot further out of that midline to create that ease in the pelvis. No wrinkles in the back of the neck. So even if you want a back bend here, it's coming from your thoracic spine and not your cervical spine. Exhale. Step back to plank, your vinyasa. So from any point on, or any point in this practice, you can choose to omit the vinyasa and meet us here in downward dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, always a choice. 3 more breaths, allowing the crown of the head to point toward the floor, allowing the tailbone to lift up toward the sky. Now your journey forward. Bend your knees, look forward between your hands. Well, you could either step your right foot, then your left foot, take baby steps to get there, or hop forward. When you get there, inhale, flat back, half forward fold, and then exhale your way, nose to knees, Uttanasana. See if you can release that upper body. Just let it go. If your knees are bent, it's perfectly fine. No stress. And then awkward chair pose. So bend your knees, circle the arms by the ears, Utkatasana. And as you exhale, stand to Tadasana, mountain pose. Again, inhale, bend your knees, arms by ears, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. And then you have the choice. You can step your left back, your right back, or jump back to plank. Your vinyasa, exhaling to lower, inhaling to lift, exhaling to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right leg lifts. Maybe you'll bend that knee. Step the right foot between your hands, fingertips. Heel down, warrior 1. Let's add on here. Open those arms, warrior 2. Turn the right palm up, peaceful warrior. Try and straighten that right arm as much as you can. And then cartwheel the hands to the floor. You're exhaling back to your vinyasa or downward dog, whatever suits you. Meeting in downward dog. Left leg lifts. Maybe you're going to bend that knee, enjoying that sensation in the quadricep, hip flexor, waist, quadratus lumborum. And exhale, left foot between hands, fingertips on the floor, right heel down, warrior 1. Exhale, or actually inhale to come to that warrior 2. Let it go. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Let that left elbow be straight so you feel more sensation through the left side body. And then exhale to chaturanga and your vinyasa or downward facing. In downward facing dog, 5 breaths here. Remember to spread your fingers wide, fingertips pressing into the mat. Lift the tailbone a little bit higher and see if you can drop the heels a little lower. Continue to breathe. Breath is smooth, even, continuous. To come forward, bend your knees, look between your hands. Again, you could step left, step right, or hop forward, However you get there, inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold, letting it go. Bend your knees, circle arms by ears, Utkatasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Good. Standing balancing pose. So for me, I like to get some help. I have a chair here just in case. We'll begin. I'm going to do the right on my right side, so don't get confused. Just follow what I say. Hands on waist. Lift your right knee up. Open the right knee to the side, and then place the right foot on the left leg. Note the heel is either below your knee or above your knee, right? We don't want to be pressing directly on the knee. The other alternative is to use a kickstand. Right toe on the floor, right heel on your left ankle. Having directional problems today. So you choose what works for you and seal that foot against the leg. Sweep the arms up. Vikrasana, tree pose. So I have pointer touching thumb, Jana Mudra. Find an unmoving spot to gaze at. Steady your breath. Steady your mind. And when you're ready, release the hands, bring the right knee forward and place it back on the floor. Other side. Left knee lifts, open the knee, place the heel below your knee, above your knee, or kickstand, right? It's up to you. Sweep the arms up, pointer touches thumb. Turn that knee forward and release down. You can always repeat that if you like. We'll move on to some standing poses. So feet parallel, inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. As you exhale, you can step the right back, step the left back, or hop, come through vinyasa, meet downward dog. Right leg lifts. Feel free to bend the knee here. Stepping the right foot forward. Left heel down, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, peaceful, and straighten the right leg. Release the hands, keep legs straight, and shift your hips over to the left. Reach your fingers to the right. Keep spine long as you pivot the hands for Trikonasana. So my triangle may look a little different. I'm protecting my back. So do what you need to do. If you find that your triangle takes you here, you've lost the pose. We want to tuck the right buttock under so that it's as if we're two-dimensional. We could be pressed between two panes of glass, kind of like people press flowers to dry. Yeah. Beautiful. And if you want, you could extend the triangle. I like it with support, but some people can do it with two hands. Okay, so at your preference, maybe the left arm sweeps by your ear. Maybe you lift that right arm as well. Just be kind to your body. And then release that right hand and take that left hand toward that right leg. Now I'm using blocks for pyramid pose. So one block on either side of my foot, which works out, it's right beneath my shoulders. Where your left foot goes is up to you. You could keep it on an angle, which is traditional, or you could turn all the toes to point in the same direction. Ways to make this easier: have bigger blocks, right? So you're higher up, or a chair. Step your left foot closer, or just keep a soft bend. I mean, our ultimate goal is to stretch the back of the right leg, the hamstring. And here again, we want to pull back on that right hip crease and square off the hips, which is easier if the toes are all pointing in one direction. Long back, right? And as you exhale, release yourself over that right leg. You may need to adjust your blocks or remove them completely. Allow your nose to come toward the knee. You're breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Take your time here. Be kind, compassionate, understanding, just as you would if you brought a friend who is new to yoga. Would you scold her and say, forget it, you can't do this? Or would you encourage her, tell her how proud of her you are for trying new things? Come back up to your fingertips, bringing your blocks with you if you like. Bend the right knee, move your blocks to the front corners of your mat, and float the left leg up. Square hips so that when you flex the left foot, your left toes are pointing down. This is called supported warrior 3. You can stay here if you're happy with this, if you're enjoying it, or turn it into half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. So to do that, the right hand stays on the block or the chair, wherever you've placed it. Start to rotate your left toes toward the screen, and then extend the left arm toward the sky. Sometimes called all limbs pose, we're extending out through the center of the body, through the limbs. And then one other variation, if you like, a bind. You can place the left hand along your left leg, bend the left knee, reach for the ankle, and pull against it. So you're creating, that tension of dancer pose. It's kind of like, I call it dancer on the moon. That's not an official name. If you fall out of the pose because you're laughing at me, just get back in. And then you can release that leg, bend the right knee, and step back, warrior 2. Cartwheel the hands to the floor, optional vinyasa. Downward facing. We'll lift that left leg now. Open the hip. Feel free to bend that knee. Step left foot between your hands. Left heel down, warrior 1. Turn it into warrior 2. Tip it back, peaceful. This time, straighten the left leg. Bring the arms back to shoulder height. Shift the hips to the right. Reach the fingers to the left. And windmill your arms into place for triangle pose. Again, the thing that I see most in my classes is people want to get further down, right? They want the hands on the ankle or on the floor. And what they've done is they've turned the lateral stretch into a forward fold, which we don't want to do. Okay. If you like, you can extend your triangle. So the safest way is to take that right arm by your right ear. Some of us might float the left arm up, but it does add pressure, weight to the spine. So you get to decide. Remember, no wrinkles in the back of your neck. You're tucking that chin and almost gazing at your armpit to keep that head aligned with your spine. And then release that left hand back down, reach that right arm forward, and start to turn that right foot. I'm using blocks for pyramid under my hands, right? Again, you could have the right toe, the right foot on a 45-degree angle, or you could square off the hips and allow all toes to point in the same direction. Extend from the tailbone out through the crown. Use whatever you need here to get that long spine, right? If the strings are very tight, it pulls down on your pelvis and rounds the lower back. So we don't want that. We want to have that tailbone lifted here, just like in a flat back. And then as you exhale, pull the left hip crease back, please. And then as you exhale, lower yourself over that left leg. Again, turn your blocks or remove them. Just creating support, ways to make this easier. Shorten the stance between your left heel and your right toes. Just walk it in. Use that exhalation to soften and relax, release something you no longer need, and deepen the pose. And come back up on your fingertips, adjust the blocks as needed. Walk your blocks to the front corners of your mat. Soften the front knee and lift the right leg. You'll know that your hips are square to the floor when your flexed right toes point straight down and not out at an angle. And then again, you can stay here or take a journey with me to half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So we'll start to turn the right toes toward the screen. The right arm lifts to the sky, and you're flexing that right foot. Remember, use props, use whatever you need to help you here. And if you wanted to do the bind on this side, right hand to right thigh, bend the right knee, reach for the right ankle, and pull the foot away from the hand, creating that tension. Dancer on the moon. You can release, hands down, lower that right heel and find your warrior two. Good. We'll come down to the floor now. Cartwheel your hands. Step back, come through that optional vinyasa. Last one for the day. Good. And then bend your knees. You can either step, 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 or hop forward. And we're going to actually come to sit on the floor and extend the legs out. Here we go. So we'll begin with Janu Sirsasana, means head to knee pose. And any variations, you can modify this. I use a strap, very pretty one. So we'll start out with the left leg is straight, bend the right leg. So think of tree pose. Remember, we bent the right knee and we brought that leg in. You could bring it above the knee. It doesn't have to be at your groin. It's wherever you're comfortable. Use your hand to move the buttocks back and behind you and take a little preparatory twist, right? Gazing over that left shoulder and then come back to face those left toes. Keep the spine nice and long and begin to hinge forward. We're not rounding. So for me, the strap is helpful here. And I could use the strap. You could use a sock. You could use a tie, a towel, whatever you like. When you've gone as far as you can, hold there and then exhale and round over. I need to walk my hands forward on the strap, or you can maybe even reach. And then exhale, tuck your chin, nose to knee or head to knee pose. Wherever you are here is fine. We're not forcing. You can intensify this pose several ways. You could take a block and place it on the bottom of your foot to make it a little further away, right? It's like an arm lengthener, whereas the strap is an arm shortener. So feel free to do that. You could also activate your quadricep muscle, which is the antagonist to your hamstring. So you do that, you just lift that kneecap and make that thigh active and see if that allows you to pull yourself a little closer toward that knee. And then the safest way to come out, pull the belly button in, walk your way up. We'll turn this into a seated twist. So the right knee comes up and you've got lots of options here. You can twist from here. If you want a little bit more hip stretch, cross the right leg on the side of the left thigh. And then of course, the third option is bending the left knee. Now, if bending the left knee causes that right hip to come off the floor, right, you can like, there's air under there, then I prefer that you do this with straight left leg. The reason is we do not want to twist on a curved spine, right? We have a more likelihood of damaging or hurting ourselves, especially if you have any osteopenia or osteoporosis. It's not appropriate. Do what's best for you. Make sure the right toes stay down, glued to the floor, and that you're not sitting on that left heel if you've made this choice. Wrap the left arm around that right knee. So knees and crook of elbow, and then reach that right arm behind you so the fingertips point away. Shrug that right shoulder behind you. Other variations include taking that left elbow to the outside of that right knee, using that arm to lever you into a deeper twist, or you may have a bind here. So employ whatever tools you have. Tuck your chin and swivel the head towards the back of your room, chin toward the shoulder, shoulder reaching behind you, and breathe. Remember, the inhalation lengthens you. The exhalation allows you to deepen the pose. 2 more breaths. And then come back through center, counter twist, right elbow inside the left knee, hand behind and look over that left shoulder. Beautiful. Coming back to center. I'd like to do a pigeon pose. My microphone may react badly, but we'll roll down to the floor, reach the right hand between, in the triangle between the legs, and the left hand around that left thigh, head to the floor, and gently draw those legs to you. You can relax your left foot, but flex your right foot. Some other options here, if you have very long arms, as I do, or you're very flexible, you can reach your hands, interlace them on top of that left shin. All the while, you're tucking the chin and pulling your shoulders down to the floor. You could even use a strap here, right? Lacing it through the legs and holding on. So whatever is appropriate for you. And then one more possibility here, if you like it, keep the right ankle attached to that left thigh, release your hands and move the right foot to the floor to the left. So it's different than a belly twist. The right knee points up, the right foot's on the floor, and you're using your left hand to press against the inside of that right knee, open your right arm to the right, shoulder height, and turn your gaze over to the right. And then to come out of the pose, you can uncross, hold on to the backs of your legs, and rock your way back up to sitting, or you can always roll to the side and come up that way. Both legs straight, bend the left knee, bringing the sole of the left foot now to the right thigh. Take your right hand and move the flesh of the right buttocks behind you. That's going to help square you a little bit. Left hand on outside of right calf, and turn yourself for a little preparatory twist. Bringing your gaze back toward those toes. Inhale long and tall and start to hinge forward, keeping spine erect. Again, using strap, using towel, whatever you need. So the spine stays erect. Let's see if you could see it better this way. And then when you've gotten to the maximum fold here, then you can exhale, pull your belly button in, round yourself over that leg, maybe walk your hands out on your strap, or hands can reach now on the bottoms of your foot. And one thing I failed to mention on the other side, the tendency is for the left arm to be behind the right. We want those wrists matching, right? So pull back to that place where you can have those wrists matching. And then relax over. The way to make this even deeper, block on your foot, hands wrapping around, thumbs pointing up. And you could activate the quadricep, the antagonist muscle, in order to release the hamstring, the agonist muscle, a little bit more. So we do that by trying to lift the kneecap up, just if you like to try. Use the inhalation to lighten you, the exhalation to deepen the pose. Make sure there are no wrinkles in the back of your neck. Chin is tucked, nose points toward knee. Safest way to come out, pull your belly button in, walk your hands up that left leg. Moving into the twist. So options, left knee up and you twist from here, or if you want more hip stretch, left foot to the right side of the thigh. Make sure those toes, those would be your left toes, are glued to the floor and the left knee is pointing up. And then there's that opportunity to bend the second knee. Notice if I could put air under this left hip, that means my spine is curving and this pose is inappropriate. More gentle and safe on your spine would be to keep that right leg long, toe flexed. Here we go. Wrap your right arm around that left knee, so knees in crook of elbow, and then walk your left arm behind you, fingertips pointing away. Shrug that, it's your left hand, isn't it? Shrug your left shoulder behind you. I hope that makes you smile. And then the other variations here, you can always take that right arm to the outside of that left thigh and you can kind of use it to spin you around even more. Whatever works for you. Just be moderate in your choices. We don't need to go to extremes to experience all the benefits of these yoga poses. The best results or the best improvement that we get from yoga is to modulate our breath, to keep the breath smooth, even, continuous. And we'll notice that when we're off our mats, that breath control is what aids us through all the chaos, all the problems, all the difficulties in our lives. When we can just settle in, focus on our breath for a moment, just to come back to the present. We unwind from the pose. Take that left elbow inside the left knee, counter twist. And then we'll take this into our supine pigeon. Again, experimenting with this microphone. Lower yourself down. Reach left hand between the legs, right hand around. So you're hugging the back of the right thigh. You can relax the right foot, but flex your left toes. So there's a nice tension protecting that knee a little bit. And if you have freakishly long arms, as I do, or you're flexible, you could bring your hands enlaced on top of that right shin. Tuck your chin a little bit here so your neck is relaxed and draw your shoulders down to the mat. That'll add a little bit of tension. Feel free to use your strap to help you here. I have good news for you. We're staying down now. Yeah. So we just have a few more poses. We'll finish up in Shavasana. And if you want, you can continue your Shavasana beyond this class. The ratio that's been recommended to me is a 10-minute Shavasana to a full 60-minute class, but you get to decide. Sometimes 15 minutes is what I need. Sometimes 5 minutes is all I can take. So now keep that left ankle attached to that right knee and use your hands to place your left foot on the floor to the right. Use your right hand to press the knee to point to the sky, left arm shoulder height, looking over your left shoulder. So this twist, I find, provides different benefits than the belly twist or that seated twist. It affects our quadratus lumboris a little more, which is basically your love handle, your tensor fascia latae, which is not a coffee drink, but it's a muscle that sits alongside the outside of your thigh and attaches to the iliotibial band, which is ilium is your pelvis, tibia is the bone beneath your knee. So this is a different kind of stretch, still releasing glutes, still aiding that torso and in the twist. Every twist has a function of cleansing, right? It's like squeezing dirty water out of a sponge. We squeeze it, and as we release, fresh blood bringing nutrients and oxygen can return to those tissues. It's also great if you're having gastrointestinal problems. Try a few twists. Great. And then to come out of the twist, just come onto your back, place the feet on the floor. You can walk those feet wider than usual, arms to the side, and windshield wipe your knees side to side. Even so that the inner knee could touch down, maybe, right? And then we'll just do one more pose before our Shavasana, a bridge pose, which you, of course, are welcome to turn into a full wheel if you're so inspired. So feet flat, parallel, hip width apart. Bring your hands down by your sides and lift your hips up, pressing heels into the ground. You could stay here, but a nice way to get a chest expansion, turn your palms to face up and drag your shoulder blades, your scapula beneath you, like you're trying to create cleavage between your shoulder blades. Another option here, if you want to deepen this more, is to reach beneath, interlace your fingers, glue the heels of the hands together, press the pinkies down, and you might need to adjust your upper arm bones. I think that's the humerus, right? Making those upper arm bones parallel beneath you. And this will give you a little bit more chest expansion. Whichever position you've chosen, allow your collarbones to spread, allow them to widen. breathe steadily. For those of you who have full wheel, keep the shoulder blades beneath you, but walk your hands so that fingertips point towards your shoulders. And I will not practice this today, but press the hands down in one fell swoop and lift your hips up, and you're in full wheel. Correct yourself if your knees and toes splay out. Feet remain parallel, knees equidistant from like the distance that your ankles are from each other. And you could even, just for fun, place a block between your knees, and that kind of constrains you. It's like a prop to bind your knees together. Whenever you're ready to come out, you're going to unlace your hands. You're going to separate your shoulders and roll yourself down one vertebra at a time. Get rid of the block if you used it, feet wide. And again, windshield wipe, side to side. And then your options for Shavasana, you could keep your feet flat on the floor, but turn your toes in, heels wider than toes, so that your knees can rest against each other. This is great if you're having any lumbar spine issues or tension or tightness. It internally rotates your femurs and allows that lower back to relax. The other option, of course, is extend the legs to a comfortable V. We'll tuck buttocks beneath us so that we can widen those hip points. And then shoulder blades underneath, palms facing up, arms about 45 degrees from the body. Tuck your chin here to release any wrinkles or tension from the back of the neck. Eyes closed, lips closed. Breathing casually, naturally through the nose. Imagine that your breath is breathing you, like the ocean waves. The waves roll into the shore and roll out to sea. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. You can extend this Shavasana as long as you like. If you are ready to come out of Shavasana now, simply bring knees to chest. Rock those knees side to side. Either rock up to Sukhasana or drop everything to one side in a side lying child's pose. Use your hands to press up. Bringing hands to heart in Anjali Mudra. We'll say Namaste, which means the light and the love in me. Recognize and acknowledge, bowing to the light and the love in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for your yoga practice.